Hi everyone, this is Marina Borushkina from Growth Channel, and today I'm glad to be talking with you about how you can build programmatic ads funnel optimized for conversion. We will look at every step of the customer decision journey from trigger to awareness, consideration, and conversion, and see how your programmatic ad campaigns can be scoped in for B2B and B2C campaigns across different ad exchanges and channels. I want to thank Agency Summit and Agorapulse for helping us organize this session and bring the session to you guys. Now let's dive in. So let's start off by looking at what is it that comes even before you launch those ads. The answer, in short, is it's all about the process. And the process usually starts with really understanding the market and who you are targeting, identifying what is working for competition, what channels, auditing your online pages and website, and identifying the target audience, and then figuring out what is the strategy that you're going to be approaching them with. What is your objective, and defining that campaign scope. Then eventually we're looking at launching the campaigns finally, which we'll really talk a lot about today. And, identifying the channels you're looking at, what's the budget, your timeline for the campaign, and then also looking at the optimization of those campaigns. Making sure that you monitor everything and optimize the results based on your objectives. Looking at all of that, there are many different channels you can, of course, select. Today, we'll talk primarily about the digital channels across the programmatic ads ecosystem. Here are just a few of the examples of the ad exchanges that you could run the advertising funnel with. Here is also a link for those who are interested to look at the list of the ad exchanges that are also supported inside the Growth Channel DSP. So the focus of today's session is the conversion-based advertising funnel. We are looking at the 4 main steps today. Trigger, which is at the very top of the funnel. Awareness, which is when people are looking at more information to learn more about your brand. Consideration, when they're comparing their alternatives. And then the conversion, when is the actual capture happening of those leads or opportunities. Here we have a combination of prospecting, retargeting, and lookalike segments for today. We'll start off by talking at really trigger and how people move into awareness, and then further down the funnel. Here we have about 10 campaigns in scope. I will drill down more into the 8 specific campaigns, as those are the ones that have primary differences. And then at the end of today's session, we'll also talk about how you can actually activate those campaigns as well. So let's dive in. The first campaign is focused on the trigger phase, and here we're looking at the demographic prospecting across industry media. It could be sites, mobile apps, or could be video or banner advertising. Sometimes people also would do audio ads if those are very targeted as well. And we're looking at the premium channels, so really targeting those decision makers. For example, if it's a B2B business, or in a B2C world, that could be actual buyers already. For example, if I'm a Walmart, I maybe want to target people who are going to, let's say, H-E-B. I'm in Austin, Texas, so that's the example I would bring up. But let's say for B2B, it's really looking at also decision makers within specific industry, perhaps people who are in certain roles or departments, or level of the companies that you want to reach. Some of the examples of the premium media could include like Business Insider, Forbes, TechCrunch. It depends on the industry, but those are pretty, let's say, popular sites across the board. You could also run those even on the news sites like Mashable, or let's say for retail industry, that actually could be ads on Walmart or eBay. Some of the channels here recommended are mobile web, desktop, and mobile in-app. You can do video, banners, and sometimes even native or audio ads. Why the strategy works? Well, first, you can get presence on these premium sites and see also where the get the presence where the competitors are driving the traffic from. And you can identify that with tools like SEMrush, even Growth Channel as well. which also has some of those built-in analytics. So really looking at what are the top referring domains with 60 or higher authority score that are driving traffic to your competing sites, and then looking at you're really focusing on your strategy across those sites. At the same time, some platforms such as Growth Channel, there is also no minimum ad spend, even for those premium channels, which also gives this premium placement opportunity and has more of a branding impact as well for your campaigns. The second campaign here I want to talk about is geo-targeting to active event attendees. We have seen great success from these campaigns, and it again can be applied for B2B and B2C industries. An example for a B2B industry presented here is, for example, let's say there are industry events that may be happening, and you definitely want to consider targeting those digital out-of-home placements, such as could be TV screens inside the elevators or in office buildings. Those could be actual digital billboards outside of the building. But then at the same time, also looking at the mobile users, because at every event, we all bring our phones with us, right? And we check them occasionally. I think the recent studies actually found out that people check their phones at least 40 times a day, which is crazy. But it's a great channel to reach your audience. So you can actually look at the geofencing, the time, and the venue with a certain radius of the events that you're looking to target. For B2C, here is also an example. Let's say you're Starbucks and you want to target people who go to other coffee shops in the area. So in that case, you can again geofence those people and target them with ads. And one of the reasons this strategy works is that because you have very targeted audience who show their interest by attending certain events or locations. And then again, at the same time, there is no minimum ad spend on certain platforms, such as Growth Channel, even when you look at targeting those premium channels like the digital out-of-home media. So this is about the second campaign scope. The third one is more about the audio native ads, which is similar to the first one we discussed, except that we're actually looking at, targeting people in more of their awareness stage, so with slightly different content, but the targeting could be actually pretty similar. So I'll look into the campaign number 4, which comes in for the awareness stage, and this is a little bit more advanced. And this comes into remarketing to people who actually attended different events or locations in the past. Now, it doesn't work exactly the same way as geofencing does for the previous campaign I talked about, but this can actually identify the mobile device IDs of the people who previously attended certain locations at certain periods of time, and you can remarket to them with ads, but also email, and even for B2C, postal. And these are coming with opportunities where you can either partner with a data company or have access to some of the built-in capabilities, such as with Growth Channel, where you can actually look at, for example, people who attended startup events earlier this year, or if you're targeting, let's say, compliance officers for a campaign, you can add the compliance events and target into them. Same goes for B2C industry. Let's say looking at people, let's say if you're working with the bank, who previously, in the past 90 days, visited certain bank branches that are competing, and you want to bring them over to your customer, etc. So those are different opportunities that are available here. And the suggested channels that are working really well in this case are mobile web, desktop web, and mobile in-app advertising, and you can run those with native, banners, and email campaigns. This is targeting, again, very specific audience, and this is where we also see very high improvement in terms of the click-through rates, sometimes getting up to 10 times. And you can also A/B test different headlines. If, for example, you're working with a startup with a company that's entering a new market, and you want to really still test a few different strategies and messaging to the new audience. In this case, that's another opportunity to actually reach out to this audience. And the third component is really driving traffic to your website content from industry leading publishers for very specific audience. So that's a little bit about this one. If you want to learn more about, retargeting to past event attendees, definitely check out Growth Channel. Let's move on to the next one, is really building lookalikes. I think most of you are familiar with this strategy, but Fortunately, based on my conversations, not everyone is actually using this strategy. So here's what we are looking at. It's really not just building off lookalikes from who visited your website or just general Facebook retargeting. This is really looking at specifically people who have purchased something, that have high value customers with either high lifetime value or just overall total gross revenue for the company, and really building lookalikes of those specific lists. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 1,000+ audience like what you do on, let's say, Facebook or LinkedIn or even Google. You don't necessarily need a huge audience size. You can also be pretty good with just a few hundred of those folks and build off lookalikes from that. And you can actually drill down specifically also on geography, on other demographic aspects, and even company attributes if it's a B2B campaign. And recommended channels for these are mobile and desktop web with banners. And in this case, you can actually really identify and reach your ideal customer profiles based on who's already active on your application or actively buying in your store. The other campaign I want to talk about is contextual targeting, oftentimes also referred to as search remarketing campaigns. So for example, let's say you are working with a cap table management company, and they have great success in search campaigns on Google, let's say in Bing, and you're driving traffic from the search results. But sometimes it's either your ad score not working well, or maybe the CPC is going down the roof. So you're looking at other alternative channels where you can still reach to this very specific audience who's already showing significant interest in the specific keywords. So what you do is you can actually reach to people who have went further in their journey and left the search results page, and maybe they're either comparing the different software solutions on review sites, reading blogs or directories. In this case, it's search remarketing campaign. So you can actually look at targeting the specific keywords that are already working well for your search campaigns, but reach your audience with, let's say, native or banner ads on mobile and desktop web. Why it works? Well, first, people are already showing the intent. Usually it's much higher click-through rate and much lower cost per click. And at the same time, again, there's no minimum ad spend on most of the platforms for the specific advertising. You don't need to have a huge audience for targeting this specific audience, and it can be part of your always-on strategy. The next campaign that we want to talk to you about is really in the consideration phase and remarketing your site and app visitors, especially the ones that are showing interest in, let's say, your pricing page or specific landing pages or product pages. In this case, you can actually remarket to people who visited your site or app conversion pages but have not subscribed to paid plan yet. Banner ads work really well in this case, and you can invite them to a demo call or start a free trial if it's a B2B. And on the B2C side, it's literally, hey, there's a product that you checked, but you haven't bought yet, so proceed to checkout. Campaign number 7 here, again in the consideration phase, is more applicable for B2B than the B2C world, and it's really focused on high-value targets remarketing. And here we're actually suggesting more premium channels such as connected TV with video ads, but with a very niche audience. For example, let's say you have 100 target accounts that are a part of your ABM strategy that your customer wants to convert. And in this case, you're most probably producing lots of content, videos, articles, white papers, etc. But you want to be also present in one of those more premium channels. In this case, making sure that the brand of your customer is always in the face of the potential customers and the prospects. And you want to definitely remind people about the brand. So Connected TV is one of those channels. Platforms like Growth Channel make it possible without any minimum ad spend, but also give you this premium placement for very select audience that you don't need to have minimum 1,000 people, let's say, threshold. In this case, simple CRM integration can do the job. And with high-value targets remarketing, you can actually reach that audience and increase the conversion significantly, especially when targeting more enterprise customers and those decision makers. On a B2C world, of course, that can be part of your branding campaign on top of the funnel as well. The last campaign I want to drill down on today is the conversion campaign that's capturing emails of prospects on your website. We all know that, on average, that's about 5% of the people that will sign up on the website, 95% will leave, and that we hope for your marketing campaigns to kick in, but that doesn't always work. So what do? Here's one trick. You can actually place a growth channel pixel on your website, pages that you want to get the opt-in emails from, and another pixel on the conversion pages where you want to exclude them. Not everyone will sign up on the website, but if you want to increase your leads deal flow, you can actually, with this pixel, capture the opt-in emails of the people who have given the consent to share their information. And this way, you can actually increase your conversion rate from website visitor to customer by up to 70% with an email sequencing workflow by sending personalized emails to the people who have visited the site but maybe haven't yet converted on following up with them, in addition to other remarketing ads that you may be running. So then you have this conversion-based advertising workflow. Here's an example of the visualized version of how this could work. You have this prospect. Let's have this mail vision here. You have high intent keyword searches. You have this events that people may be attending and the demographic profile of your ICP. People see the banner. Some people may visit the site. Some people may start registration going directly on the landing page when click on a banner. You can have retargeting in between, right? People who finish the registration and go to the sign-in page. Maybe some people start a trial, for example, if it's a B2B platform, but maybe they haven't finished proceeding to the actual paid subscription. There's another pixel there. All these orange elements are the remarketing components that may kick in certain elements of your customer journey. And this is how you can optimize for the programmatic ads performance across the whole funnel. Channels and platforms like Growth Channel make it possible. Within Growth Channel, we have connection to over 150 channels, all built inside the dashboard, where you have access to mobile in-app advertising, audio ads on Spotify, Pandora, and many others, digital billboards, connected TV like Hulu, etc., native advertising, Taboola and AdBrain, and many others, video and display, all of that without any minimum ad spend. And no commitments. So you have visibility on all the premium channels that your customers may be interested in. At the same time, you have full flexibility and full control of your advertising campaigns on a self-serving platform. You can literally save up to a week in the campaign setup using Growth Channel's smart planning tool. At the same time, you can save a few other days on just the analytics because you have unified analytics. Plus, you have full control of your ads, so you can actually get more of your ad spend and have better ROI on your campaigns. This is just a little bit about also Growth Channel. If you want to consider that, we have also 2 weeks free trial and a special offer for Agorapulse Agency Summit attendees, which you can check in your bucket. And if you have any questions or you want to book a demo or discuss your advertising funnel, you can reach me on email here or even connect with me on LinkedIn.